mean, I know that I feel like I speak for both of us, that we feel like we're sisters. I mean, at this point, really we live together as well.
Yeah.
Bachelor.
So you all like, you guys know each other like the back of your hands.
For the most part.
Which is, I'm not being funny, that's not a nail pun. That's just,
that's a little hard to say.
Unintended.
Yeah.
Or not. Hey you, welcome to Done Not Perfect. I am your host, Shelby Abrahamson, and today we are joined by two wonderful guests here from Tooth and Nail Studio. We have Neyda and Mireya. Welcome to the studio. Thank you so much for coming on down. I've been so excited to hear about your business since we've been speaking. They're also in the Kimball Arts Center here.
Yeah.
And I've been really curious to hear about you guys, what you do, and so thanks for coming on down.
Yeah, no problem. We've been talking about this for a little while, so I'm glad we're finally here.
Absolutely. Well, really quick, just to jump in, can you tell us a little bit about just what you do in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, we are nail artists. We beautify nails. Mine are not beautiful right now, but
I'm gonna say I feel really self-conscious coming in here with my
everyone else has got my own.
I mean, the artist always suffers for their work. Yeah,
except for my cousin Mireya here.
With gorgeous
always
nails
has
here.
Her nails done.
We make women feel great when they're, and not just women, men, non-binary. We make you feel great when you're leaving. By the time you're gone.
That's a good
experience.
mission in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's very good. Well, why don't we go ahead and just start at the beginning? I want to know a little bit about your past, your history. So can you tell us where you grew up?
I grew up in Rochester, New York, upstate New York. I was born here in Chicago, but my mom, when I was little, moved up to Rochester, New York, and that's where I mostly grew up. High school, I went to high school in Guatemala. So I'd say my formative years were in Guatemala.
So you've had some
I
multiple
moved around.
different,
I moved around as a kid, so I'd say Rochester, Guatemala, south side of Chicago.
All right.
Yeah,
so you definitely have a lot of different backgrounds you can pull up, which is great for artistic inspiration.
Sure, yeah. I definitely say, because I learned to paint and got into painting when I was in high school in Guatemala.
Right,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And what about you? Where did you grow up?
I was born and raised in Chicago. My mom did move around a lot, so I've lived in the suburbs, I've lived in Humboldt Park, I've lived on the south side of Chicago. So I also have a lot of different experiences in Chicago. So.
Yeah.
Because the neighborhoods in the communities are all very distinct.
Different.
Yeah.
I did go to New York every summer for like a consistent 4 to 5 years as a kid.
And you two are cousins, right?
We are related. We are cousins, actual cousins.
Actual blood cousins.
Blood cousins. Yeah, not like play cousins.
Not play.
Or like real cousins.
So from the talking beforehand and everything, you all didn't actually grow up together.
We did not, no.
And you kind of came together and sort of getting close again in your early 20s, right?
Yeah, so I didn't know Mireya lived in Chicago. When I moved to Chicago as an adult, I think just before I moved to Chicago, I found out she lived in Chicago. I think we connected and we spoke on the phone for 4 hours at night, as if you're talking to a new boyfriend.
Yeah. When you were in Wisconsin.
And when I was living in Wisconsin, I lived in Wisconsin for a year as a live-in nanny.
Yeah.
And we just connected, and then anytime I would go to Chicago from Wisconsin, she would pick me up. I'd sleep over her house, and that's how we, over time, kind of started building our relationship.
Yeah. We were, we always had a faint memory of each other because, like I said, as a kid, my dad would take me in the summer to New York every year, and I remember playing with her and being excited about her and having family in New York. And knowing when I found out that she was in the vicinity of Chicago, Indiana, Wisconsin, I was excited.
Yeah.
I was like, my cousin, what's up? Yeah. And we just kept it going as adults.
That's so cool. I have a million cousins, and I'm not I didn't grow up around them what you all experienced, and the idea, I just didn't grow up around a lot of family. I also moved around a lot. And so I love this story of you all kind of coming together as adults and seeing each other as peers and friends and being able to like grow together like
so
that.
We're cousins, but I know that I feel like I speak for both of us that we feel like we're sisters.
Yeah,
at this point
really
we live together as well.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we live together. We raise 2 little girls together.
Work together.
Like a pod.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I can honestly say, like, I'm not, like, you know how when people live together and work together too much, they bump heads?
Yep.
And I'm not tired of her so much. She's great.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
That's a skill. I mean, I've been living with my business partner for 8 years now, and we've managed to make it work, but there are times that I'm like, you have to get out. You have to leave for a while. I need time away from you. But it takes a delicate balance to like have that work-life balance, and not just like for yourself, but also like with the person that you're working with and living with.
And business as well.
Yeah, that takes some real skill. That shows me that you all really do like each other.
Yeah.
Because that's definitive proof for sure.
We've lived together before.
Right.
Yeah.
Before kids.
Yeah.
Bachelor.
So you all like you guys know each other like the back of your hands.
For the most part.
Which is I'm not being funny. That's not a nail pun. That's just
that's a little hard as that.
Unintended. Or not.
But all right, you said that you like started painting and picking up kind of like creative stuff when you were in high school. What about you, Mireya?
I've always been very DIY-y. I've always loved just figuring it out myself. And I've always loved like abstract and painting and like random things, crafty stuff,
doing stuff with your hands.
With my hands, but like nails was always like an interest of mine that I never took seriously.
So that's a funny story. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
She was always nails done. I was very much a tomboy. Even when I first moved to Chicago, nails done always made fun of me for not having my nails done.
And she always made fun of me for having my nails done.
I didn't start getting my nails done. I'm in my mid-30s now. I didn't start getting my nails done until I was 27, 28. And then I just became obsessed with it.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got her in the end.
Yeah.
You pulled her in.
Yeah.
I remember I don't know if it was the first time, but I remember me seeing you have your nails the first time.
Right.
I was like, you got your nails done now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But the funny thing is, I became a nail artist years before she did.
Really?
And then she says I inspired her to become a nail artist.
She inspired me to do it professionally.
To finally do it, yeah.
Because if you like go onto my personal Instagram, you can scroll down to like 5 years ago, like the very first time I posted Instagram of photos on Instagram, I had like nails done by me, like my own natural like nail art. Like always loved nails.
She did way before me.
Yeah,
it's interesting how that's like it's like popped between the two of you in terms of how it's like grown up. You guys kind of like two twin suns, just kind of like caught each other's orbit and just influencing each other in this way.
Yeah,
it's really neat. I like that. That's an interesting story. Like a lot of people, obviously they have influences, but it's like a boomerang.
Yeah,
in a way. I mean, and it was not intentional. It wasn't like I need you to do this with me. Not at all. I actually, when Mireya started, I didn't take her seriously at first.
Yeah.
I told her that I wouldn't take her under my wing until I saw that she was taking it serious.
Yeah. And she didn't like tell me that ahead of time, right? Like
I wouldn't like her pose.
Oh.
I wouldn't. None of that. I can be very mean, yeah. And so her other cousins would kind of talk crap to her, like, your cousin doesn't support you, she doesn't like none of your stuff, and I did that intentionally for a reason. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna show her, I'm not gonna show any interest until I see that she's consistent with it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, and I didn't know any of this. I had no clue about any of this thought until one day she called me and she's like, you're really taking nails seriously?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I am. And she's like, well, I wasn't gonna say this until I saw that you were serious, but now that you are, come work with me. I was like, oh,
Okay.
So I had already been doing nails maybe
like
2 years at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I'll come, start training you or see where you are and help you through your learning process.
Well, I mean, I can understand your perspective of why you wanted to make sure that, it's serious, because I working with family or close friends it's a gamble. Like it can go really great, as it has for you two. Obviously, like you guys have blossomed together into this, like you created this amazing business. But there's a gamble if you work with someone who you are close with or who you love and you care about. Going into business is a very serious prospect, and you need to be able to trust that the other person is taking it seriously. Yeah. So, I mean, respect. That's something that it takes guts to make that offer and to accept that offer. Yeah. But obviously, it's worked out for you two. Yeah. So you've been in business since 2019, right? Like you got licensed in 2019.
No, I became licensed in 2018.
Oh, my bad.
I started working for myself in 2019.
Gotcha, that's right.
Yeah. And then got the studio here at Kimball Arts Center in 2020. No, 2021, I think. 21, yeah. Sure. Right. In 21, June of 21.
Oh, yeah. We're in 23 now, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's January. The dates are still all mixed up in there.
Yeah.
So when did you join in? Like, when did you come on?
So, I can't remember the exact date. I would say it was like right after June of 2021, right? June, July.
You came on here about July of 21.
Yeah.
But I started training you in my home studio. I want to say spring of 21. Because you would come over she would come over every Sunday, and we would take a couple hours, and I would train her specifically in certain different things.
Nice. I bet those were some fun sessions though. Like
they were.
Yeah. Getting to hang out and
it was just like hanging out. Yeah.
Well, what were you both doing before you kind of got into this field?
So it happened accidentally for me. Again, I started getting my nails done. Then I started getting really picky about how I got my nails done, and just how I am. I could do this myself. So I started taking courses and then realized I had to be licensed, because even to do it as a hobby.
Really?
I mean, I don't like to half-ass things, so I'm like, I can't do this if I'm not licensed. Like, I don't want to get in trouble.
Naturally.
I was like, well, and just casually started looking for nail schools. I found one in upstate New York in Rochester, and I got licensed in New York. And it was like a 6-month program. And I was working from home at the time as an executive assistant from home. So I would work during the day, I'd go to school at night, and then the company went under a month before I graduated.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess this hobby is gonna be...
I mean, the timing could have been worse.
Hey,
yeah.
I mean, it worked out because I kept, for like 6 months after that, I kept saying, I have to find a job, while I was doing this on the side, and I was working part-time at a salon, and I'm like, I have a job, I just gotta do it full-time.
Yeah.
And I started working at the salon full-time.
Rock on.
Yeah.
And what about you? What were you doing before?
So I was an executive assistant for years, for like 6-7 years. I worked for this amazing company. The CEO was great. I was in love there, and then the company just started downsizing, and so I was like just looking for a job, just any way to make income, and I found CVS corporate. And I was working for their special medications from home. And I wasn't really happy. I wasn't content. I was just like going through the motions. And I'm seeing this chick over here like doing nails. And I'm like, this girl she lives in Ukrainian Village. She has a car. She hangs out. Like, she's paying bills and she's having fun doing nails.
Making money.
Like, I'm like, if she can do this, I can too.
Yeah.
So, and I've always loved nails, so I'm like, why not turn it from a hobby to something like I really love? So I started going to school. During my last 30 minutes of work every day, I was online doing school. So eventually, like, I think my last month of school, I got fired.
From the company.
From the company, I got fired from CBS. It was mid-COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the hell am I going to do? And then right around that time is when Neyda was like, just come to my house and I'll like help you, you know, like sharpen your skill. And I took it from there, and I just was like, forget the corporate world. I love this nail thing, and I actually enjoy it. It doesn't feel like a job. And so I just started working at little salons here and there until I really felt more confident with my skill. And Neyda was like, why don't you just take a risk? Just do it full time. Just try it for a week. Try to see if you can get your books full for an entire week on your own without the nail salons. And I was like, all right. I tried it, and my books were packed. I had to send people away. And I was like,
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
That had to have felt really good, though.
It felt so good.
To realize, you know, because there's a lot of fear beforehand.
Yeah,
there's
is.
a lot of uncertainty and everything.
Yeah.
And whenever you finally put yourself out there to be rewarded like that, that's a good feeling.
Yeah,
It was great. And I just was like, thanks, Neyda. And I was like, peace out, nail salons. I'm at the studio now.
Well, it
So-
sounds like you, again, like very much influenced each other and helped. I mean, having support network, especially when you're trying to like strike out on your own, change careers,
Mhm.
do all of this scary stuff, having someone who's done it before, or who can just support you in that. That is so essential. I mean, you guys are just so lucky to have each other. That's so
We are.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about like pre-business and everything,
Yeah.
and about how this was kind of a hobby for you both. So can you talk me a little bit through the transition of how you transitioned it from a hobby to a business? Like, what did that look like?
So for me, the realization was started when I'm like, well, I could just do this full time at the salon that I was working at. And then I think I was at the salon going on 10 months at that time, and started having issues at the salon, just like with managers and stuff. And I think I already had my home studio set up. I had like a really cute coach house and had a second bedroom, so I made it really cute, really, I mean, it was much smaller than like this, and it was just a table. I even had a pedicure station in
Really?
this tiny ass room.
Wow.
So, but it was just so cute, really well lit. So it was just after COVID, like when we came from out of lockdown from COVID, so people preferred it actually because
That
it was
makes
just
sense.
us. So
Yeah.
I had an air purifier, we had masks, and I was killing it. I was doing great just working at a home.
That makes sense, especially like in like the heart of lockdown. There were so
Yeah.
many people who were just like, my roots are growing out, my
Yeah.
hair, everything's off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
no one could go anywhere to do anything.
I
I bet
had,
there was a huge surge of business of people like, thank God.
yeah.
Let me just, please. Let me
No,
just
I
get some
had-
stuff fixed up.
I had
Yeah.
people crying in my chair, like, I'm so happy. Like, damn near made me cry because they were just like, this is what I do for myself. And so to not be able to do this for so long, I got a lot of that just after lockdown. So it was great to start back up around that time. And then, so yeah, I was super busy. And then, so that was summer of 2020. And then my lease was ending at the coach house. I didn't want to renew because they like raised the rent really
As they do,
ridiculously.
yeah, especially in COVID.
Yeah, and so I'm like, well, let me. I started having the issue of like if appointments would overlap, they didn't have a waiting space, like the
Okay.
person waiting if they didn't drive. So I started, thinking like, okay, that's not professional at all. I mean, yeah, all my clients were regulars at that point and they didn't mind waiting, but like during the winter, if it was raining, it was just not cute.
Yeah.
So I started looking for a space. I started looking for a space to start working out of, and I think I just kind of happened to drive past Kimball Arts Center coming home from Armitage Produce, and just called them, and like I think 2 days later I signed a lease to have the studio here. So
Sounds serendipitous.
yeah, it
Kinda
just
worked
worked out really well.
And this is a great building for
Yeah,
what
it
you do. I mean, like it's obviously like it's the Kimball Arts Center,
Right.
so it's obviously got a very like
Yeah.
artistic vibe to it. But
Yeah.
just the way it's set up, and I can see why.
Yeah, it worked
The
out
appeal worked.
so much better. I mean, than like trying to get a storefront and doing like the salon thing. I didn't want a salon feel to
Yeah.
the studio. So
what
it
kind
was
of a feel were you looking for?
just very exclusive, very private. I mean, even when Mireya came in and started working with me, I felt I was a little skeptical at first because my clients were so used to just a one-on-one experience, and that was a big.
It's funny that even through that skepticism, you still were like, just come on.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm like, okay, we're family, we get along. I know that it's just gonna be us two, and then our clients, and so it worked out really well because even our clients will end up talking to each other and telling each other like, let's book our next appointment together again.
That's so cool.
Now instead of just it being a private session with my client, now it becomes a hangout session with Mireya and her client.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
it works out so well when the perfect clients come and like, they're both really social and really funny. I don't know if you can hear us from down here, but we will be cracking the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like so loud that I'm
so
like,
loud,
I think our neighbors hate us. Yeah.
That's
So
the energy.
it's really cool.
Well,
it turned out to work out. It turned out really well.
I have this issue anytime like I go get my hair cut or like I want to get a massage and I very rarely get my nails done, but like anytime like that, is I'm always really nervous about like, what do I say? What do I like? How do I be? And I could see the appeal of like having it be a much more small, intimate space, and you get to develop a relationship with your clients.
You
really
do,
develop
really.
a relationship.
Some of them have become friends, like close
Oh
friends.
yeah.
I've cat sit for some of them. Like they meet us out at parties. Like weddings. Great. Yeah.
That's a beautiful relationship.
It is.
Because it can be really scary when you're like going and getting something done. You don't know the person that you're sitting across from.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that you all are able to create that kind of private, exclusive, relaxed atmosphere. Because it can be for the socially anxious among us, it can be a little scary. So for those of us who aren't super familiar with the nail game, can you walk us through just like a day in the life? Like what is it like for you two?
I mean, being that we're both moms and we live together, the day starts at about 6:30 in the morning. Kids get up, they start getting themselves ready, and then this one gets up. And she starts, preparing the day for us. And then I get up and I'm just like hanging out, trying to be supportive. And then after the kids are off to school, then we're like racing around getting ready. We try to get here before 30 minutes before the client, right? Yeah. Clean up the studio, sitting in our chair, waiting for them to walk in. And it's on and popping from there. It's just art and creativity just flowing.
So if someone were to book a session with you, do they come in with an idea? Do they just they have a specific thing that they want done, or do you have the kind of relationship where you can walk in and just be like, do something, do whatever, I'm here to be your canvas?
So some of them are like that.
Yeah.
Initially, when it's someone's first few times, I try to tell them to give me ideas of what they like, because some people like glitter, others don't. I don't do very much glitter, so my clients know not to ask me for glitter. Or flowers.
I mean, it's a little bit of all of that you said, right? So some people have ideas, some people don't. Some people trust you enough that they're just like, do what you want.
Yeah. Which you have a lot more of that than I do. I think you have a lot more people being like, just whatever you want. But so as artists, we'll get inspiration from random things, right? I mean, Mireya has made me stop in like the middle of the street because she's seen a mural, and she'll just take a picture like, hold on, nail art inspo.
You gotta find all the weird stuff out in the world. That's all stuff to pull from.
And so it's murals, it's been beer cans, it's been a lot of
logos too. I like the Awaken Bakery logo.
I would like to just go on a walk with you too, just because I am the exact same way. I am unable to go through a full conversation. We walk to and from work, it's a 30-minute walk, and I am unable to go through without pointing out a squirrel or a mushroom or someone's cool coat or something.
Yeah.
I am constantly doing that exact same thing.
Yeah.
It is impossible to hold a conversation with me without interrupting to point out something.
Yeah.
Because the world's so cool.
It is.
And it's nice to stop and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Especially like, it's one thing I appreciate. I'm not from the city, so like coming here, there's just so much life and there's just so much texture.
Yes.
I'm from Wichita, Kansas originally, but I grew up
in.
I moved around a lot, so I grew up a little bit in Wisconsin,
Okay.
a little bit a lot of it in Oklahoma, and I've lived in Illinois for the past 8 years, so it's not like I'm new to it.
Yeah.
But I was in Champaign, so it's only in the last 6 months that we've been in Chicago, and so the place.
So that's why you're still in awe.
Everything's so shiny. And
I will
new.
say though, I do still very much love Chicago.
Chicago is a love, like, and we visited a lot before we came, but it's a gorgeous
I was
city.
born and raised here, and I still can't help but to find new things all the time. Yeah,
it's so
just
changing. It changes so much.
And
so.
it's something that I'm in love with is just the people. This is something. Sorry, I'm just this little down the side. Something that I've always been teased about every time we've come to visit is I love like when it's dusk or it's night, and you're on the train or you're just walking on the street. You can catch little glimpses into people's houses and homes.
Yeah,
you get little tiny glimpses of like how people live and how they decorate and like what they're watching. Just a snippet of what they're watching.
That is such a Chicago thing.
Yeah, and I
love
that because people are fascinating. I just am love. I'm in love. I mean, that's why I like doing these chats, because I'm so interested in like all the different cool people who are doing their own unique cool things, and so. Yeah, it's just every day on the street, there's someone who I'm like, what's their story?
Yeah.
They're dressed cool. What are they about? It's just, there's a lot of variety. And I'm in love with it. The people are
I get it. I totally get it. It's,
And all the dogs.
Well, Chicago's very dog friendly. So.
Super dog
This building is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I stop every time that I see a cute dog.
Speaking of, where are the dogs?
They are. It's gonna be on days where it's gonna rain.
Why are we here and the
And
dogs
not the
not?
On days where it's gonna rain, we don't bring them because then we have to walk them home in the rain. And we don't want
then they
them.
get smelly.
So and poor Summer, the black one, she just somehow can't. She kicks every bit of dirt up onto her belly. I don't know how she does it. She's the same height as the other one. The other one doesn't do it. So. But I love just the
totally. It makes sense why you do this. For sure.
And and this building is obviously full of really cool people. It's why we were drawn to it in the first place, and cool dogs. So I want to talk a little bit more about like your style, because like you don't have just like regular standard nail art, do you? You wouldn't. I don't think you would describe it as normal standard nail art. From what I've seen, I wouldn't describe it as that.
So let's lay out what normal standard nail art is, right? It's like lines and like old school. Like what is that to you? Normal nail tech.
So I think when it took a turn, well, before nail art, or when you would go get a set at like salons, right? That you just like a storefront salon. You'd get glitter, maybe you'd get gems, you'd get like an ombre nail, and that was like a mix. I call them collaged nails because it's just like a mix of things. It's, gems, maybe some 3D flowers, maybe sticker flowers, or maybe
stickers.
Stickers.
And that's super, like, its own thing. Like, there's nothing against
not at all. And people still do that, and I wanted more to like paint and draw, and so it took me a while in the beginning to differentiate between that and this, because or that and what I do, because I would get girls coming in and wanting that kind of nail art that I didn't do, and they would request it, and it would be really hard for me to do, even though it was flowers and stickers and gems and glitter. Like it didn't satisfy me, and so I couldn't really deliver very well, and so those eventually started fading out, and it's evolved into people just doing amazing, crazy kind of like nail art drawn on these little itty bitty things,
And I would say that for not just for us, like just for the nail industry now and how it's developed over COVID, I wouldn't say everyone, but a lot of nail artists have really gotten into a very artistic side of nail art.
like
So
painting.
would you say that there's like a I don't want to say a renaissance, that might sound a little bit too big, but
I would say there was. I
Yeah.
mean, not now. It happened. I'd say maybe even. I'd say about 5 to
Say 5 years ago.
Okay.
years ago, where it transitioned into. I mean, but it was like a huge thing where
Like
you
a
were just
boom.
of transitioning to doing just like actual art. So I think that's when the word transitioned from, you know, calling someone a nail tech versus a nail artist.
Yep.
Gotcha.
You know, because a nail tech is someone that can do a killer set, like the acrylic or foundation, you know, of the actual structure of a nail, versus someone who can do that and also
Provide.
paint and color and do art on nails. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about like this differences between your two styles, like how you, because you certainly don't have the exact same stuff. So what kind of stuff do you like to do?
I like to do more edgy, kind of abstract, between edgy and, like you said, texture. I like a lot of texture and dimension.
That's something I've definitely noticed.
Yeah, that's my anything that can give that the dimension and the texture and the abstract is my jam.
Yeah. And I also love the texture and the dimension, but I love outrageous nails. I just love like long, ridiculous, like crazy
just
nails.
over the top, like
over the top nails. Yeah.
Not many people can maybe live like for her.
Like
this
for
is
simple and
standard, but there's people that come in for her and will get 3 times, 4 times the length.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we're getting like 4D art, and we're doing like, I love nails that like you can do like this, or aquarium nails where there's like water inside the nail.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, I love like crazy, the craziest
Yeah,
shit
she does
you
a
can
lot of
think
over the top.
What
I
some
get
of the craziest
the craziest?
well, like what's like some of the craziest ones that you've done to mind?
I mean,
What would you
I
say?
would say, all of Omar's, which
all
are
of Omar's, yeah.
super 3D, very long. I mean, he's over the top himself. Omar is a character.
And I love every little part of it. Yeah.
But you've done the chrome gold, super 3D, where she went to Africa.
Where they're textured and they're like
wavy.
Yeah, they're
swirly,
like swirly dots, crazy, like 3D, 4D sticking off of the nail.
Wow.
Yeah, where it kind of like is a fidget nail where you can just
like a
touch it
birthstone.
and play with it and do a lot of this with it.
Huh.
Yeah, but I also really do like just like art, you know, very artistry.
It's one end or the other for her. It's like abstract and you know, and nail art, or it's over the top.
Yeah.
Fucking daggers.
Yeah.
That's I didn't even know that. Like the aquarium nails. I'm stuck on that because that's so cool, and I didn't know that was possible.
I haven't had anyone bite yet, but I did do it on just a hand.
Like the concept has been proven.
Yeah, I've done it on just like a fake hand because I haven't had anyone to actually come in and be like, yes, give me the aquarium nails. So I had to do it on a fake hand just because I wanted to do it so bad.
Sorry, out of curiosity, do you have like in your studio like little displays of like do you have like fake hands that are like?
No, we don't.
I gave them all away at this point.
I think it's weird having hands with nails all over the place. The only thing we have really is like palette, like the swatches of colors and stuff.
Okay. I was gonna say because it would be cool to see like experimental pieces done, but I do see the point on maybe a bunch of hands being a little creepy, like just.
I did have fake hands for a long time because of that. I liked doing weird things that a lot of people weren't ready for just yet
to display.
So I did have a lot of fake hands, but I had so many friends and family that like are also interested in just playing with nails, so I just gave the hands away.
And to be fair, it's kind of what social media is for. Like, it's kind of like a portfolio at this point. You don't need to have physical stuff in your studio.
Yeah, exactly.
You do something cool, take a picture of it, and then...
Yeah, half the time we are just going through our, like, either our camera roll or our Instagram, like, this is what we could do, or,
So, that makes a ton of sense. That why it also is more simple. Because your studio is...
Edgy.
really well. It's really cool, but it's not like cluttered or it's very
it feels so cluttered
sleek.
right now.
Well, from my perspective, it seems very nice. So like having just taken a glance at your studio and what you have going on, you clearly have a little bit of like you don't seem like other salons, or you said you don't want a salon feel, you want something a little bit different. So I want to kind of get into a little bit of like what's influenced that life, like what's influenced this style and how you stand out.
So for me, very much the motorcycle world that I am in. I mean, I ride Harleys, and so you would think that they don't kind of go, but you can get so much inspiration from motorcycles, and that's kind of eventually what I want to transition into, is doing very much like you know, bike and like lowrider inspired nails. It's kind of what I eventually want to transition into being like a niche of mine, which I'm surprised it hasn't like been. I don't know why, but
because you're the first, you're the explorer who's like paving the way.
Yeah, so
you start doing it, there's gonna be people behind you starting to do it too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give more of like a shop, like a motorcycle shop aesthetic in the studio. So that's the goal that we're going for. We're still in the process of getting it together, but yeah, the first thing you see when you come into the studio are two very graphic motorcycle, I don't know if you've seen them, but there's the first picture you see, it's like this massive like photo of this guy on a motorcycle that he overheated from being on a bike ride, and he's just throwing up.
Huh, no, I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the other photo is a guy with like leather gloves and whatever, picking up a turtle that was crossing the road, and you just see a bunch of bikes. But yeah, sometimes you get good reactions and sometimes you don't. But I want people to know what they're getting when they come in.
Well, yeah, you don't want to bury the lead. You are who you are.
Yeah.
This is the.
I mean, the logo is a hand holding a dagger.
Yeah.
So.
Which I love, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's cute.
I think it's super rad. What advice would you give yourself when you were just starting out?
I would give younger me. I would tell younger me to not worry about what others think, and to not be so caught up in this box of you have to work for someone else and you have to get the 401k and benefits package. I would say, younger me, just let your creative juices flow and explore yourself and monetize whatever it is that you love and do great.
Solid advice.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much said it. I would tell myself to, when it comes to, I think as an artist, maybe you've experienced this or not, I don't know, that there's like rules to follow, to just break the fucking rules.
Just break the rules, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay with breaking the rules.
You learn the rules so you learn how to break them.
Yeah, very much.
Well, can you tell us a little bit of like what the future looks like for Tooth and Nail Studio? Like what you're wanting to do moving forward?
Yeah. So here at the Kimball Arts Center, we are, even though we didn't want the salon feel, we are trying to bring in like another artist, but a different kind of artist, maybe not another nail artist. I'd like to bring in a braider, because I don't know if you know about the braiding world, but that has also been like transitioned and turned into just an art in itself. And so to get a braider in, I feel would bring in just a different level of creativity to the studio, right? And another element. So we're looking to just really get the studio set up to still not feel like it's a salon and still feel very exclusive and private and like we're all hanging out and just 3 artists killing it. We're raffling off my motorcycle to really get
to raise money
to raise money to get the studio just upgrade the studio and really make it our own.
Can people join the raffle online?
Yeah, it's actually linked in my Instagram, which is my Instagram bio, Terminator.
Terminada.
Termineyda.
Awesome. That is such a cool name. I can't believe it. Well, I guess on that note, is there anywhere else that you would want people to come find you online?
Yes, on our Booksy booking page, which is toothandnailstudio.booksy.com. That's how they can book with us.
Yeah, and you eventually be able to find us both there. I have my own Instagram. It's posh and _polished.
All right. Well, thank you all so much
Thank
for coming
you.
in here, for
This was so
telling
much
us
fun.
about your creative journey and all of the stuff that you guys have done. It's fascinating, and you guys have inspired me that I might need to get my nails done properly
Yes,
at some point.
come through.
Because
I like that you added properly. That's
properly,
right.
because I don't know what I'm doing on that front. It's always scared me, but you make it feel so like not intimidating,
Yeah,
which
come
is
through.
Yeah,
fantastic.
and it's really not. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Just fun.
Not intimidating.
Not intimidating. Noted. Awesome. Well, that about wraps up our fantastic chat with these two wonderful ladies, Neyda and Mireya from Tooth and Nail Studio. This has been another episode of Done Not Perfect. I am Shelby Abrahamson here in the Foxsy studio, and thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
And catch you later. Join us for the next episode.